Welcome to a webinar on how to become a Yammer MVP. And my name is Ali Kazmi. I'm a Yammer specialist at Xelleration, and today I'll be talking to you more on how to become the Yammer MVP of your organization. Xelleration was founded in 2000, and our primary focus right now is enterprise social, obviously focusing directly into Yammer. We have a very expansive social media marketing team that is backing this overall solution, and not to mention Xelleration's other core practices that revolve around IT consulting, SharePoint, Office 365, and Windows Azure implementations. So the main case for enterprise social: create a conversation within the company. Social is now a part of our lives. And as you may have all known, you may have either got this update or notification via your mobile device, or when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is check your emails, you're on your social networks, or possibly before you go to bed, you're reading some articles, communicating with families across the world. Social is now the frontier of different forms of communication and is a very prevalent part of our lives. The only irreplaceable capital an organization possesses is the knowledge and ability of its people. The productivity of that capital depends on how effectively people share their competence with those who can use it, according to Andrew Carnegie. Meaning, people are your greatest resource, and enterprise social is transforming the way we work together. It's about the relationships, not the technology. Most companies approach enterprise social networks as a technology deployment. To fail to understand that the new relationships created by enterprise social networks are the source for value creation. 1.3 trillion in annual value is to be unlocked by businesses through social technology by 2016. That's an amazing statistic, meaning that people around the world are rapidly utilizing social media platforms to seek and share information all the time, and seeing the very core solution and the value that it can do within a business. It's all about driving a new way of doing business. 20 to 25% boost in productivity within social technologies is to come, according to McKinsey as well. This means it's about making the organization more responsive to a constantly changing world. Top Yammer goals revolve around sharing and collaboration. These are two key buzzwords that we see all over the social networking articles today: sharing and collaboration. Yammer creates a two-way dialogue and make business personal again. Business has lost that personal touch, and Yammer is trying to bring that back. It helps reduce the power distance to leaders and connects the organization globally, person by person. It breaks down the hierarchy, diffuses the boundaries beyond the different divisions within the company, and allows people to communicate on all different avenues and ideas throughout projects, topics, or any type of ideas that may arise. 50% of large organizations will have internal Facebook-like social networks by 2016. Also, 30% consider enterprise social as an essential as email and telephones are today. We all remember how emails and telephone calls are the most prevalent way of marketing. Now there's a new frontier, the social space, which the Yammer is on the front line to take by storm. Social is being adopted at such a high rate, and it's very key to take into consideration that all of these organizations need enterprise social to create that conversation and voice within the company. Guys, alright, so let's get our feet wet and dive right into the Yammer demo. So here, this is what you're looking at, is Xelleration's Yammer home screen. Up here on the top left, you have your Yammer home button. This will bring you back to your home page no matter what site you go onto. Next to it, you have your inbox, which notifies you on anything that you are included in, whether you have commented on someone's post or you've decided to follow them. It will send you any updates that way through your inbox to continue on the conversation. Besides the inbox button, you have your notifications. Your notifications notifies you when you either when someone likes your post, shares something that you posted, decides to follow you, or if anyone decides to either praise or add any other notifications to you. Next, this is a very key essential feature within Yammer. You can search for almost anything within Yammer, whether it be any files, conversations, people, or groups within Yammer. You can easily search for it and it'll take you right to it. Also, you can invite other people within your organization to adopt the Yammer Enterprise conversation. Besides that, we have this ellipses button where you can add different groups, search for different people, view different files, use some different apps to help increase your business process or help the flow of different communications within Yammer. You can also edit your profile. If you're a network admin, you can check on how the overall enterprise network is working for your organization. Also, if you seek help, and you can also log out from here too. Now, proceeding down, the central area we have here is our Yammer home feed. On the very top, as you can see, there is an announcement which you can also make from within this dialog box. You can either share an update, you can add a document or image with up to 5 GB per file, but there is no cap on the actual space that you can upload. And what's great about this is you can also select a file that is already on Yammer, and I'll touch base on that quite soon. Next, you can post a poll. So if there's any ideas that are revolving around a company per se for a project name, you can type in the idea here around the project name, the few best answers, and you can get some collaboration going on some ideas. Also, you can praise someone for some good work that they've been doing. You could post a company-wide event, quite like we will be doing for the next episode within this Yammer series. Also, if you're the Yammer admin, you can make an announcement, quite like there is one up at the top. Proceeding down, this is the Yammer Newsfeed. This shows all relevant and highest trending traffic coming through your Yammer site, depending on what people are posting and depending on how much threads are included within a post. To the top right, we have our network usage policy. This is very crucial because you can make this an acceptable usage policy when new employees adopt Yammer, meaning that you can hold them accountable for any policies or procedures that you decide to make your Yammer serve for. And you can go into here, make it fully editable, and you can also direct people here to any best practices and guidelines within your Yammer practice. Back to the home screen. Below the network usage policy, there's also this great live streaming of recent activity. You can see people that you're following or within your organization that have done any recent activity within your Yammer home. And below your recent activity, you have your app directories, which you can see all the different apps that are quite relevant to you. Suggested people to follow that may be within your group. Some suggested groups that you may want to join. And right here where we have labeled company resources, this can be fully editable. What this is quick access links to make Yammer the go-to place for core valuable information. Here we've decided to use it for some of our onboarding strategies and quick references. So this isn't available anywhere else except for Yammer. So this helps gain Yammer adoption and helps drive more people to Yammer to see the core true value of what Yammer can do. Now if we proceed into the groups. Within the group feed, you can also pin certain topics that are being talked about within the group feed, and also quite like the home feed and the group feed, if there's a certain topic that you would like people to continuously talking about, you can just use the hash sign and create the topic. And you can create the topic so people can continuously use that topic sign to keep the conversation going. You notify people within your group, and there are two different types of group, public and private. Private requires admins to accept people to come into the group, and public anyone can join. However, if you would still like to share something from your private group to the rest of your company, it will only show that specific conversation. It will not show the whole group feed, just for the purpose of security. Also, within the actual dialog box for your group feed, you can also add a document and select another file within Yammer. Post a poll again, praise someone within your group, post an event about that certain group, and make an announcement. And quite like our home feed, you can also pin valuable information within the group, so people can make this a go-to place for this information and have things readily at your fingertips for anything that you may need. Proceeding on, you could have information, what the purpose of this group is. So whoever the group admins are can easily just write out what they would make this purpose for the group. Proceeding on, we have the files within our group. And as I mentioned before, you can search up here for most of the files as well. And also from the home feed and news feed, you can search for these files. This is a great way to store information for people to access readily on the go. Proceeding on, there are different notes. There's a notes section within our actual group. So you can track meeting minutes, any different ideas, or if things are brainstorming or in blueprint phase, you can keep them collaborated here. And as I mentioned the groups, you can also browse different groups within your company. You can create a group as well if there isn't already a group. However, before creating a group, I would search all the groups just to make sure that you don't create any duplicate groups within your organization. Now proceeding back to the presentation. Creating passionate fans, driving Yammer adoption. Yammer needs to be your go-to information source for valuable information, meaning it can be your repository for specific information to drive Yammer adoption. And quite like I showed you, you can utilize that by creating quick access links on the sidebar. You can also create incentives within your organization to drive traffic towards Yammer. This would be a very key way to entice different people within your organization to want to utilize Yammer. And it's also a great way to get people involved and make the workplace a more fun, enjoyable place for everyone to be. And it also enhances your company culture. Have a purpose and clear goals. Have a clear goal and purpose for the network, as well as individual groups. What do you want to accomplish? When do you want to accomplish it by? you need help from to accomplish your goals. The clearer the plan, the easier it will be to stay on track and achieve it. Plan a roadmap for your goals. Remember that network-wide adoption and engagement is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't get frustrated or give up if you don't see the engagement numbers right away. They will come with constant planning and encouragement. You should also avoid duplicating any information within your Yammer, and make sure that you use the search feature for any ideas that you may have to create, just to make sure that it's not already there. And also set up clear guidelines on when to use Yammer, such as email should only be used for urgent, private tasks, and to contact external people. And Yammer is used for discussions, questions, and for a valid place for your information. Promote the desire to capture and reuse knowledge. A desire to capture and reuse knowledge drives Yammer adoption by creating a Yammer network where employees need to go to learn. It makes it a valuable knowledge center. Encourage others to share and learn from each other, and make it a safe place to ask questions. To make it an even safer place, you can create a private group where it cannot even be searchable within the directories of the group, so it's completely within your group members. Also, as a Yammer MVP, know how to know all the answers. Instead, make sure you know where to get them. By having a solid understanding of trends, market forces, and a superior knowledge of your company, this will help you have a meaningful conversation with others on the network. Build a team-centered culture. This is a very viable tactic within organizations to create a team and a culture within the teams so projects go smoothly, everyone enjoys coming to work and loves where they work. At the end of the day, it will drive the business forward, having everyone happy working there. You should get the top executives on board, and you should also guide executives to actively engage and spend at least 20-30 minutes per day, no more longer than that, to respond to others, help your executives educate others, and model healthy community behaviors. Also, strive for a team-centered culture to help other members make the Yammer network their own. Create a support network where people can go to help out others. Also, you can create a pilot team of Yammer advocates. You could find those key people within your company who are using Yammer and empower them to recruit others across the organization. Create a separate exclusive group for them to guide them on the right path and encourage them. I would like to thank you all for joining our Yammer webinar on how to be an MVP today. My name is Ali Kazmi. If you have any further inquiries or questions about Yammer, any solution questions, please feel free to email me. Now I'd like to open up the floor to Q&A. And also, if you have any other questions, you can also find us on LinkedIn, and you can also follow us on Twitter, and we're quite responsive and will be able to answer your questions immediately. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. And also, I'm going to be posting a link within the chat feature of our session, just to inform you all that we're going to be having more episodes for this Yammer series. The next episode would be on becoming a Yammer admin. Terlin's question: what do you recommend for healthcare organizations, especially as it relates to adherence to HIPAA security privacy guidelines? Well, you can always monitor different things that people are saying. And always you can create within the policies what people are supposed to post and what they can't post, and you make that acceptable as a network usage policy. And I'll also get more information, Terlin, and send that your way regarding HIPAA compliances within Yammer. And Josh's question: how have you specifically used Yammer to get more users to adopt Yammer? So what you can also do is you can send a message from your Yammer home feed and use your Active Directory sync to send it to a distribution group of your whole company. So that way people see that the valuable information is within Yammer. So they will need to go towards Yammer to see that. Terrelyn's question. Also, how have Project Management Office, PMO, used for Yammer collaboration? Well, actually, within our own organization, we've actually used this to replace our own PMO site. However, the features and functionality are still being enhanced to meet those needs, but we can still use the different features of groups, quick access links, file uploading, and also the topics which relate to metadata within PMO sites, so people can continuously talk about different phases or parts within the project. And also within your PMO groups, you can still create an external group within Yammer, which we will be touching base on in our next webinar, where you can also have an interaction platform between yourself and the client. So this would be a good way for the client to stay up to date with the project and see who's working on the project and add some insight to make the project go a lot smoother. Also, you could have a verified admin within the groups and the external networks as well. And also for the keyword monitoring, the admins will be able to keep track of that and make sure that the conversations are continuously going. Great question, Terrelyn. Well, if you stay tuned for our next webinar, we will be touching base on the administrator level of Yammer, so that way you could gain adoption and see what people are specifically talking about within Yammer. Josh, as your question has mentioned, your Active Directory syncs to your Yammer when you activate single sign-on, which we'll be touching base on our next series, on our next episode, I apologize. And when you do the single sign-on, it does an Active Directory sync, so all your distribution groups and emails and contacts within Active Directory will be synced within your Outlook, into your Yammer. So from your Yammer dialog box, if you like to mention distribution groups that relate to Active Directory, you can send it to them as well. And we'll be touching base on that in our next episode. Yes, you're right, Terrelyn. This is very beneficial for all phases within projects, from blueprint to design to implementation, development, until you go live, and actually continuously talking to the client when it's going live to see if there's any bug fixes or any other modifications or enhancements that need to be made to the deployment. And our next episode would be within 2 weeks. So we'll keep you posted, and also I believe at the top of this chat feed there is a link directly to our LinkedIn group, where you can also stay tuned for the latest updates and conversations within Yammer, and please feel free to engage and help enhance our actual LinkedIn group. But yes, we have recorded it, and we'll be putting it onto our social media networks. And this out, we will send it to you personally as well, Terrelyn. As someone has mentioned, Terrelyn, Yammer meets requirements set forth by HIPAA, SCE, and FDA. Any more questions? Okay, we would like to thank everyone for joining our Yammer webinar on how to become an MVP. We look forward to seeing you in our next episode within this series. And if you have any insight on how we can make this more valuable for you, and anything that you feel like we could possibly improve on or make better, please feel free to communicate with us. You could also contact us via our LinkedIn, Twitter, or you could email me directly, as my email is on the last screen. Thank you very much, and have a great day.